Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2022 comedy drama film Moving On. Stars Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Michael McDowell is in this. This is pretty, very quick. Hour 24 minutes or something like that. Very, very fast. And it's paced properly, which I'm shocked for something so quick. This is a conversation film. And this is a do you seek revenge on someone who sexually assaulted you 46 years ago? And if you do seek revenge, how do you seek that revenge? Do you wish them to be unalived? Do you plan for them to be unalived? Do you somehow make amends for the what's that stupid political term? It's not reason of a doubt. What is it called? Statute of limitation. There we go. What's the statute of limitation for an event that happened 46 years ago? Is it still relevant within a trial? All these different kinds of like jargon, right? Political jargon or law jargon. And it's interesting when someone has a recollection of a moment, which is different than your recollection of a moment, and it brings this conversation. Do evil people who take advantage of you deserve to still be alive? Do they deserve to remain happy? Do they deserve a second chance? And then having that ending was very important to see, because a lot of films we see in I forgive you for causing my trauma. That's not, no. Certain people don't deserve forgiveness. Certain people deserve what's coming to them, karma. There's a whole show, My Name is Earl, is based on karma. So that's the comedic route. But that's what's interesting about this, is that having Jane Fonda's character confronting Michael's character with the assaults that happened 46 years ago, now that they're seeing each other again at his wife's funeral, how does she want to take revenge of this particular moment? That one particular moment 46 years ago destroyed her life, and she wasn't able to talk about it to anybody else aside from Lily Tomlin's character, aside from her therapist. Certain people process things differently. So just because something happened so long ago doesn't mean it didn't actually happen. It happened for some odd years ago for that particular moment. So it's, how do you deal with that moment 4.5 decades later? What do you do with that? So to have their back and forth of, am I going to unalive him? Am I not going to unalive him? There's a flare gun involved. Very entertaining. And then having him die in a parking garage after being hit by a car. And then that celebration that the monster is finally beaten. It's very interesting to see, because you don't see that normally. You don't normally see that within film, within television. You don't see that normally unless it's like some kind of, there's a monster and we got to kill the monster and the villagers come together to defeat the monster in the woods, kind of a thing. Like, we don't see that in regards to humans. We see that in regards to werewolves and Frankenstein creation monsters, right? So there's a good Teen Wolf phrase that I use all the time. Not all monsters do monstrous things. But looks can be deceiving. It was the whole thing about Ted Bundy and who else? Who else is a good example? Jeffrey Dahmer, right? They didn't look like monsters, but they did monstrous things. But then what makes a monster? Is it the actions of the monster or the aesthetic of the monster? It's very interesting. It's a conversation piece. So this particular situation is, if something was said 4.5 decades ago, no one would have believed her. They would have batted an eye and say, oh, you're taking this out of proportion. Go back to your husband. Go back in the kitchen and cook, right? That's how things were handled back then. Things were not handled as appropriately as they are now in comparison. So progress, first of all. But I really like that. I did not expect this to be a conversation film. I didn't even know what this film was about, to be completely honest. I only watched this because Lily and Jane were in this. They've done countless projects together. Specifically, 9 to 5 is what they were first, became duly famous together for. And then they did many, many projects since then. And the whole Netflix series, Grace and Frankie, with the two of them. So to have them work so well together, they just feed off each other so wonderfully. And to see that same dynamic, same back and forth dynamic within this project, it was like watching another episode of Grace and Frankie. So it was really cool seeing that. It was really cool having those age conversations. It was cool seeing that, how do you handle a monster who did monstrous things, who doesn't look like a monster? It's very interesting because it's a different conversation starter. It's a different conversation piece where you're allowed to feel happy when the monster is defeated. Because a lot of the times we're not supposed to be happy that someone's passed on. It's like, no, if a monster who's done horrible things is finally not with us anymore, why am I supposed to be sad that they're gone? No, that's not like it's not a thing. Anytime horrible political leaders have passed on, you see two sides of the internet. You see the side that is mourning them, but then you see the side that is cheering that they are finally not with us anymore because they caused so much harm to so many people. Why are we supposed to feel sad when a monster who's done monstrous things is not with us anymore? It's interesting. I never understood that. So I'm glad that we're now seeing that other side, that you're allowed to feel joy when a horrible individual is no longer with us. It was cool. It's cool seeing it because it's not normally been shown, and now we have it. And I hope we have more projects like that. I hope we have more projects where we're allowed to see people cheering that the monster is destroyed, that the village is saved. Oh, good times. Good times on a flip side of conversation. It's wonderful. It was very, very good. Very well done. It's not doing well with critics for some reason, and it's got like a 5.8 on IMDb for some reason, but I think that's because it's a touchy topic. Things are touchy. Deal with it. Question. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.